Hey guys, Dean of DVD, that was a part of my collection. I guess it's, I don't know, less than half. But it got migrated up here a while ago, some of the Criterion, all the Criterions and some other stuff, some of the music ones and stuff that I watch. Anyway, I got my top 5 of the 1950s. And this time, for the first time on my top 5, all 5 movies are from the Criterion collection. So, probably no surprise for those of you who have watched my channel. I'm a big fan of the Criterion movies, and as you'll see in the 50s, some of these 50s movies, Criterion did a real nice job on bringing some of those back, restoring them, and really doing some excellent work with them. So, first up is a movie from 1957, directed by Sidney Lumet, and this is 12 Angry Men. Great movie. Stars Henry Fonda, and just an incredible cast. There's Jack Klugman. There's I'd have to go to the back to list off all the people that are on this thing, but there's a ton of great actors in this. Lee J. Cobb, Ed Begley, E.G. Marshall, Jack Warden, Martin Balsam. Just Jack Klugman I mentioned already. Just a wide variety of great actors. Led by Henry Fonda, who does an outstanding job in this. Basic plot is a murder trial, and it looks like an open and shut case. 11 out of 12 are all in favor of going home, and the one holdout, as depicted by the different color box here, I guess there's no big secret as to who it is Henry Fonda. Criterion's done a great job in restoring this movie. Sound, video, really great job. And it's just a great movie. It all takes place, basically, 99% of the movie takes place in one room. And in order to pull that off, you've got to have some incredible performances, and they do. This has also got the original television play that this was based on, the 1955 television version. So that's equally, well, I don't know about equally, but it's also really great. So you really get 2 films for the price of one here, the TV version and then the 96-minute film by Sidney Lumet. So there it is, 12 Angry Men, number 5 in my top 5. At number 4, get that out of the way so it doesn't steal any of the glory of number 4. Number 4 is a film by Akira Kurosawa, and again, if you've watched my channel for long, you know I'm a fan of Akira Kurosawa. This movie is a little different for him in that it's not samurais, it's not big battles with swords and things. It's one man's battle, and it's a losing battle with cancer. It's this man here. Great job. I'm going to get some of these names butchered up. But this is considered by many to be his finest achievement. Takashi Shimura plays the lead, plays Kanji Watanabe, an aging bureaucrat with stomach cancer, forced to strip the veneer from his existence and find meaning in his final days. So it's told in 2 parts. The first part of the movie is his quest in the present. And then through a series of flashbacks, the second part of the movie shows kind of his life in perspective. 2 discs, made in 1952, so it qualifies from the 50s standpoint. 143 minutes, black and white. Great movie. Touching. This guy does an outstanding job. And the final scenes in this movie are kind of tearjerkers, I guess you'd say. Great movie, Akiru. Highly recommend this one. The older you get, I think, the more you'll appreciate this movie, or the more you'll think about your own life, I guess, as you approach this gentleman's age in the movie. Not that many of us are, but the older you even get toward that, I think you start thinking about it. Or if you've got parents or uncles or brothers or sisters or grandparents or whatever, it makes you think. Akiru, number 4, by Akira Kurosawa. At number 3, the only film ever done by this actor turned director. I wish he would have done more. It's the only one he did. This movie is a 1955 movie, Night of the Hunter. Again, Criterion, they all are. Robert Mitchum, Shelley Winters. Lillian Gish, the silent movie star, has a role in this and does it great. She was a great actress to begin with, but certainly great in this as well. The children are great in this one, too. Robert Mitchum, in probably his best role, as a preacher-type person who has got hate on one hand and love on the other, and he apparently is fighting a battle, or so he says, between hate and love. He's not really. He just wants some money that he finds out is sitting around somewhere, and he thinks these children are the answer to it. So he spends the movie trying to get some money. And it's a fairly sizable sum, although not by today's standards. But anyway, that's the basic plot here. And really well filmed. Charles Laughton is the actor turned director, and he does an outstanding job. And this two-disc series, or two-disc release, has a beautifully restored digital transfer, black and white, 1.66 to 1 aspect ratio, 93 minutes. And then it also, very atmospheric, beautiful scenes where you see the children in the foreground and Mitchum in the background, kind of looking for them. And when I say the background, maybe 100 yards away. Eerie scenes of him out in front of the house where the children are staying, kind of hanging around, whistling and things. And then disc 2 is Charles Laughton directs The Night of the Hunter. 2.5 hour treasure trove of outtakes and behind-the-scenes footage. Just great stuff. And then there's also a video conversation between film critic Leonard Maltin. So, great stuff. And Git, who I guess is a biographer of Charles Laughton. Anyway, just great stuff here on the movie. A big, thick booklet comes with this as well. Can't say enough about Night of the Hunter, my number 3 top film of the 1950s, and what a beautiful restoration on this. Great movie. Number 2, and I was torn on this one, but number 2 is the first time, I think, it was the first time that this particular director has been up. But if you've been to my channel, you know that I use this image as my image for my icon. The Seventh Seal by Ingmar Bergman. Probably the movie I remember the most as a kid, watching public television station one day. I was flipping through the channels on a Saturday and came across this movie, and I was probably 10 years old, 11 years old, something like that, and sat there and watched what was left of it, which is, I think it was most. I really liked it. It was, first of all, it wasn't in English, and for a 10 or 12-year-old kid to be watching something not in English was pretty funny. Pretty unusual, I should say. But this one, for some reason, captured my attention, so I've always kind of had a fascination with it ever since then. And it was one of the first Criterions I picked up, Blu-ray. 1957 movie, so it is in the 50s. This is a single disc edition. 97 minutes, black and white. It's in Swedish, naturally, with English subtitles, 1.33 to 1 aspect ratio. Introduction by Ingmar Bergman, which was recorded in 2003. Interesting, huh? Audio commentary by Bergman expert Peter Cowie, and a new afterword. There's an 83-minute documentary. A lot of good stuff here. But the movie itself deals with it's during the Crusades. It's a story of a knight who encounters death. Not just death personified, but actually death on a beach. And he's coming for the knight, but the knight decides to play him in a game of chess for his life. If he wins, he can go free. Anyway, death doesn't lose at chess. But it makes for an interesting game. And it also tells a story of the knight's travels throughout Europe during the plague. Just really interesting scenes in these small villages and interesting characters. And the knight is Max von Sydow, by the way, plays the knight, the same guy that was the priest in The Exorcist. 25 years later, he plays somebody of an age that I thought he was in this movie, but he was a young man here, blonde-haired. His face didn't age all that much. Anyway, yeah. In fact, even during The Exorcist, he wasn't all that old. They made him look a lot older than The Exorcist. But Max von Sydow did a great job in this movie. Ingmar Bergman, of course, a consummate director. Seventh Seal is a great movie, and that makes my number 2 top movie of the 50s. Which brings me to number 1. It is a Criterion. It's a highly coveted Criterion for many people. Spine number 2, if that tells you anything. Yeah, this is a 2-disc Blu-ray special edition of Seven Samurai by Akira Kurosawa. Of course, Akira Kurosawa's Seven Samurai and the whole epic idea of the samurai inspired Sergio Leone with some of the westerns he did with Clint Eastwood and others. Magnificent Seven is a takeoff on this, which is a good movie, but this is a better movie. 1954, by the way, black and white, 207 minutes long. In Japanese, 1.33 to 1 aspect ratio. Tons of extras on this. A documentary on the making of. Yeah, just a lot of stuff on this. It's almost too much to even go into. There's a thick book that goes with it. I'm not going to open it because it's less about the release and more about the movie, though this is a great release. If you're going to get this movie, I would recommend it on Blu-ray. I would recommend it on Criterion Collection, although there's other places you can get it. But that's how I would get it. Great movie. Epic. It's got comedic moments, it's got tragedy, it's got heroism, it's got battles. Just a really interesting movie. It amazed me that I could stay with this movie, seeing as it was not in English, for that long, for 207 minutes, which is over 3 hours. But yet this movie did it. It's part of the reason it's the number 1. I think it's Akira Kurosawa's masterpiece. Others may disagree. They may think it's Ron or Rashomon, but for me and for many others, Seven Samurai remains at the peak of his filmmaking. It's just a great movie. I highly recommend this one. If you haven't seen it, you should. If you can rent it from your library, or I don't think it's on Netflix, but if you can rent it from your library, borrow a copy. You can't borrow mine. You can borrow it from a neighbor or a friend. Find a way to see this. I don't see it on television very often because it is over 3 hours long, but if it happens to be on there, check it out. It's a great movie. Get any version of it just to see it, but if you want to keep it in your collection, I think this is the one to get. Seven Samurai, number 1. Just for a recap then. Number 1, Seven Samurai. Number 2, The Seventh Seal by Ingmar Bergman. 3 is The Night of the Hunter. 4 is Ikiru. Number 5, to add a little color to this rather drab-looking assortment, is 12 Angry Men. 5 great films, 5 Criterion Collection films, and my top 5 for the 50s. What are yours? Love to hear your comments, see your top 5. There's a lot of other movies out there I didn't mention, Bridge on the River Kwai and quite a few others that are worthy. I'd like to hear yours. Let me know. Thanks, guys.